at issues that surround the development of Ondo State. But let's start from security, because without security there cannot be development. And so we'll look at the state of security in Ondo State. And joining me in the conversation is the Public Relations Officer of the Ondo State Police Command, DSP Abayomi Jimoh. Thank you so much for joining me on State of the State. It's good to have you, John.
Thank you for having me.
Let's start from this issue that is burning. The people of Iluabo in Akure North local government area of Ondo State, they are not finding it funny in terms of security. If it's not one attack today, it will be one bandit onslaught tomorrow. What exactly is the problem in that axis before we go to other areas?
Well, thank you for having me. The pocket of crimes we're having in Iluabo is something that the Ondo State Police Command has always been on top of. So it's unfortunate that these incidents are happening consecutively these days. But however, the Ondo State Police Command, under the leadership...
I'm sorry I have to match your tongue. If you say it's happening consecutively, how pocket then is it? That is no longer pocket of issue. I stand to be corrected. I want to know where the etymology of your own grammar is coming from.
Well, it's a matter of semantics, actually.
Okay.
It's a matter of
so why do you think
because
pockets?
Yeah, there are variances, because if we, sometimes the first one that happened recently is more or less like an attack, a direct attack on someone. That is one John Ofudua, so who was coming from traveling, and he was shot in front of his house. So in fact, that necessitated the Commissioner of Police to, in collaboration with the 32 Brigade Artillery Commander, to visit the scene. And you can see that one is not like a kidnap. It's not like a kidnap, because based on the preliminary investigations we got, the assailants were on the trail of the person. In fact, they were on patrol of that place for about 2 to 3 days before they actually perpetrated that crime. So,
but a couple was also reportedly kidnapped.
Yes, a couple was also. In fact, when we got on the receipt of the report, our operatives swung into actions immediately. The CP ordered the deployment of tactical teams and additional security apparatus to the place where the incident allegedly happened. And bushcombing exercise was deployed immediately with all other intelligence-led rescue operations. So we swung into actions, and we thank God so far. We've been trying our best. We've been trying our best to ensure that we forestall any incident of that kind.
The one that has happened, what will happen to it now?
The one that has happened.
Has the couple been rescued?
Yes.
Have they been released?
No, the couples have been released, and they
pay ransom.
And I am not aware of that. I am not aware of that, because upon their release, the divisional police officer in charge of this had interactive sessions with the victims, and as it is, they are currently receiving medical treatment.
Well, report says that there was a demand of 40 million naira at a point.
That is not open to us, and if anybody has that report, they can of course come to us and let us. Yeah.
How can this ugly incident be prevented in Iluabo specifically?
When we talk about Iluabo, the Commissioner of Police, CP Adebowale Lawa, had visited the place when the first incident happened, and we met with the king of Iluabo, that's the Oba Olufalaye. So we met with them, and His Royal Majesty also promised to reactivate the community vigilance services. And that has always been our mantra, that security of lives and property is collective responsibility. It is not one man's show. It is not the police, the Nigerian Police Force show alone. And we have also always been enjoying robust synergy with other agencies, and that is why we call on the community as well, that they know their community more than we do. They know their place, their terrain more than the police officers do, and the police officers cannot do it alone. Okay, for example, where this incident of the couples happened in Iluabo, it was in an isolated area in that place, very far from the main town. So even when when they call on the police, you know that access is not too motorable, is not that easy to access it. And these attackers that we are talking about, they know that our highways is fortified, and that is why they go for soft targets in lonely and isolated places. So
the highway is fortified.
Our highway is fortified.
But so, then these assailants must pass through the highway.
No. Based on the preliminary investigations we've gotten and from the patterns of the commission of these crimes, so these assailants come through the bush. For example, the Eleyewo incident, they came through the forest, they did what they want to do, and they go back. In fact, before
they went through the forest, crossed through the road into the place they were going to.
They went through the bush, through the forest. So in fact, one of their victims that was rescued along that also narrated it, that those people went through the bush, and before our operative could even get there, they already moved, and immediately we swung into action. We started the bushcombing exercise, and that is how we've been
operating. Why is police so reactive or not proactive? Because from what you've been saying all along, when the incident happened, we initiated our bushcombing operation, and then we initiated bushcombing operation. Why should you be initiating bushcombing operation when an incident has occurred? Why not prevent this crime from happening through effective bushcombing operation to detect the hideouts of these criminal elements?
When the Commissioner of Police, CP Adebowale, assumed duty and around July last year, we did a criminal analysis of the state to, especially by sectorizing them, the Ondo South, Ondo Central, Ondo North, and from the analysis it was discovered that yes, we need to place high level of concentration on Ondo North, and that was what necessitated the reinforcement of Ondo North in particular. So the Commission of Police already ordered, in fact, long before now, already ordered the reinforcement of that place. We posted additional men, and thanks to the president, who also ordered the withdrawal of men from the VIP. Ondo State hugely benefited from it, and most of these personnel we are talking about were deployed to Ondo North, including the 63 men we got from the PMF Police Mobile Force. As I speak to you, they are manning critical places in Ondo North, and if you go to the schools, the federal government school, the FGGC, the one in Eduani, and the critical infrastructures that we have around Ondo North, we already have our men positioned there just to forestall any kind of attack or any incident. So you saying that we are being reactive, I think it's a wrong narrative you are pushing on us.
I asked that question based on your own submission.
We have always,
the commission of a crime, you initiate this collaboration.
We have always been very proactive. We don't leave any stone
unturned. How do you describe initiation of bushcombing operation after the commission of a crime?
Of course, when there is commission of offences, of crimes, we will definitely step in to make sure we mitigate and return situation to calmness. And I will tell you that this our proactiveness had led to huge successes. You can see from my press release in the past few weeks, we arrested suspects. Just day before yesterday, we arrested 13 suspects. We arrested 11 suspects regarding to which are suspected kidnappers. We recovered money from them, for about 500,000 suspected to be ransom money, in which one of them has already made useful confessional statement to us that it is his own share of the lump sum. Investigation is going on that. And just last week, we also arrested two suspected kidnappers. In fact, these two of them, we recovered 2 operational bikes in which they use in delivering foods, other accessories. In fact, they even go as far as getting reconnaissance for the kidnappers. So we are not just reactive. If you are talking of the incident that happened, you should as well talk about the achievement we've made.
Of course, we will get to all of this. Well, we must first look at the problems on our hands before looking at what actually you've been doing. Fantastic, I must say. Some success have been recorded, but let's face the problems on our hands first. In the northern part of Nigeria, sometimes you hear of invasion of religious centers and all of that. In fact, in recent times, we heard of the incidents, the now very, very notorious issue of the Kwara security situation. A church was invaded and all of this happened there. Now it's getting closer home. In Usho, just down here, worshippers were attacked during religious service, and some were abducted, reportedly. Isn't this a huge problem on our hands?
Well, for that of Usho, I will tell you that just around February, the second to third week of February, the area commander of war had lectures, and this lecture was even initiated by the Commissioner of Police, CP Adebowale Lawal. He instructed all area commanders and DPOs to engage their community, their religious leaders, religious worship centers, that they should, in fact, it was more or less like an advisory, that for now, going by the trend of things, we should, especially those religious centers that are in isolated and lonely places, that they should shun night worships, from at least for now, because the security of lives and property, it should not be left in the hands of the government or into the hands of the police alone. You should also ensure that you don't make yourself soft target for these attackers. You should ensure that you protect yourself, and you cannot move yourself out of your house and go to a lonely or isolated worship center in the name of you going for worship. It is when you are alive that you can render any kind of worship. And if I will add to that, at that place, despite the fact that the area commander had meetings with the religious worshippers, they still went ahead to do it without even consulting the police. They did not even if they had notified the police that this kind of activities will be taking place around that time, of course we will give that. Police cannot be everywhere. Let's be factual about that. It is when issues like that, if you know that express you are talking about very well, you would see that religious center is on the lonely part at that bush. So if you are making yourself susceptible, if you are making yourself a soft target for these people, who are you to blame? So you wouldn't put the blame on the security agencies, because
church is not too far from the Usho Junction. I hope you are aware.
I'm very much aware, but you should also know that this incident happened in the late midnight. It was around 12:50.
I'm telling you that because of the assertion that it's in a lonely area. It's not far from the junction of the town.
And that is why I said, even if you said it's not far from the junction, I agree with you, but you will still agree with me that the church is situated in more or less like a bushy part or a bushy part.
Who should have monopoly of violence? The state or the non-state actors? When you're talking about the fact that these criminal elements, they commit the crime and then all they've gone through the bush, what is delaying the state from having access to blocking some of these bush paths and some of these hideouts? What exactly is missing?
On the side, from the side of the security agency, we are trying our best and we are doing everything humanly possible to ensure that we nip these menace in the body. And that is why we have been working all around the clock. You would see none of our men is resting. We have always been working. We engage. We conduct feasible patrol almost every time, at least to show to ascertain our force. So we call it show of force, and we've been conducting that over time, so that we have a crime like this, of this nature, does not mean we are not working.
I honestly do not know the essence of this show of force, if I must be honest with you. What is the essence of it?
No,
you are showing your force, and then crimes are still happening. What is the essence of the show of force? You want to intimidate the criminals, but they seem not to be intimidated.
No, aside this show of force, when these criminals know that the presence of the police is everywhere, of course it deters them. And going by the mandate of police, we don't just apprehend, we even prevent the occurrence of crimes. And that is why the show of force comes in, the feasibility patrol comes in. And that does not even end there. We also engage in community policing, and that is why we've always called on communities to initiate vigilance groups in their places, because it is then they can be able to give us credible and actionable information.
You are very proud of the operations on the highway. You're saying it's fortified, but have you also taken time to look at what exactly happens on these highways by your men? Is it the normal policing or the other policing of the purses of the people?
And what do you mean by the other policing? Because to the best of my knowledge, our operatives are there and they've been lectured, they've been tutored and advised. They work there, they carry out their duties diligently.
Then it is safe to say that the monitoring and evaluation of the command is not effective.
No, we have a feedback mechanisms whereby
have you been able to get feedback on this matter?
Of course, we get feedbacks.
There are no bad eggs.
Let me explain to you. Even in your house, you cannot tell me that you have a perfect family. Even in your house, There is no perfect family. Of course, there will be one or two deviants. There will be one or two deviants, but I can tell you from the feedbacks and the statistics we have at hand, we are doing perfectly well.
How strong the disciplinary mechanism of the Ondo State Police Command in dealing with these matters? Because we were talking about deterrence the other time. It shouldn't just be on the part of the criminal elements, also the men of the force. We must be disciplined. In many cases, the new IGP said that the badge is a badge of honor and discipline.
Yes, the new IGP mentioned it is a badge of discipline, and that's where I will come in by saying that in Ondo State Police Command, the CP who is in charge, the CP Adebowale Lawal, is a man of high honor who holds his shoulders high, and he does not even condone any act of indiscipline. And you can attest to it from the speeches, from the event you've seen him attend to. And there is also, you talk of the check and balance mechanisms, and that is where we have the complaint response unit of the PPRO office, and I have said it multiple times that there is, if you have any complaint against the men of the force, any complaint whatsoever, you can reach out to the complaint response unit. If the complaint response unit is there 247, we have our phone numbers out there. We also have the PPRO. Of course, my number is a public number, and I get calls on every hour basis about conduct, about issues, complaints here and there. So, and we also have our social media handles whereby we get feedbacks, we get complaints, and all of them have been attended to, and that does not stop there, because that is addressing the complaint from the public to the police officers. We also have a department that is called X Squad. That is the IGP X Squad. This department is saddled with the responsibilities of checking and balances the activities of the men of the force. So there is no way complaint comes. If it goes to the X Squad, they are there. We have an assistant commissioner of police who is heading that department, and is doing diligently well. He's a seasoned officer who knows his onions well. It does not also stop there. We also have the provost marshal section. So these are the ones you see with white beret. So they are also there to do check and balances, to exert discipline into the men of the force. So we can. It is. I wouldn't say it is bad to say that we are not checking ourselves, because there is no organization, especially a regimented one like us, that would not have mechanisms in which they check and balances their men.
I just hope that these checks and balances will be so effective to really be able to work as a way of bringing results to the people, because you are serving the people, if you agree with me. Now let's look at the issue of interagency collaboration, because to my mind and to the mind of many Nigerians, if interagency collaboration is effective, no unhealthy rivalry, no competition that's unhealthy, perhaps these violence, these crimes would have been nipped in the bud so long ago. What is the problem?
No, since I came to Ondo State, in fact, the kind of robust synergy I have witnessed amongst the security agencies is immeasurable. In fact, I was even surprised, because I've worked in vast places. I've worked in Lagos, worked in Abuja, and briefly worked in Nasarawa. But the kind of interagency collaborations I met here is very fantastic. It's superb, and it will amaze you that I will tell you that all the heads of security agencies, they meet on monthly basis to discuss about the security architecture, the improvement, the challenges that we have in the state, and it has bet a lot of achievement, and that is why you would see the Nigerian military also post their successes, and in their successes, including us, you will see us acknowledging the other security agencies. And this robust synergy does not even end with the mainstream security agencies. It also extends to the Amotekun, it extends to the Nigeria Forest Guard, to the vigilante services, and all the non-conventional security architectures. And you would even attest to it that even at public functions, you see them go for, you see these security heads and other agencies, you see them go around together. And that is for the incident that happened in Nagamo. You would see from the videos that are online now that the police, the military, that's the commander of Brigade Artillery, Brigadier General Justin Ifeanyi, he was there with us. The state commandant, the Nigeria Civil Defense, that's CC Ibilo Yoluyemi, he was also there. The director of DSS was there. If there was no synergy, you wouldn't see them come for that kind of, and that is not the first, it won't be the last. We've enjoyed serious intelligence collaboration, and there are instances whereby we even share intelligence. The DSS has over time been giving us intelligence that has bet a lot of achievement. We also give them intelligence based on whatever we have on ground, and we've been working very well. And it does not stop there. We have even have instances whereby we even share suspects. There are times that we arrest maybe we apprehend some suspects on that. Okay, for example, like just last month, we still handed over some suspects to the immigrations for them to continue with their with their work. And the road safety also obliged us suspects sometimes around November. They gave us suspect. In fact, those people brought vehicles to the road safety for documentation. And when they checked on their system, they saw that this vehicle was initially registered somewhere. They handed them over to us. And glory be to God, we were able to trace the original owner of this vehicle. We handed it over to them. And this is a testament of the robust intelligence, collaboration, and cooperation that.
Yes, Baba Mijimo, you will permit me to come back to the issues of bush combing. It's actually something that's ringing on my head somehow, and it gives me a vibe that perhaps the Nigerian police is still operating in the medieval ages, that we still need to be doing this, open your boots, waiting you carry, and all of those things. What is happening to deployment of technology in your operations? Wouldn't this really help much more than all of these other issues? In fact, a caller on one of our radio programs recently was suggesting to the police and other security agencies that what are these towers and masts everywhere doing that security agencies cannot use them profitably for technologically based policing? That's a challenge to you.
The Ondo State Police Command has always embraced technology-based policing. We have always embraced it, and we deploy them where we know where we need them. But let's not forget that the society is policed the way the society appears. The way the society appears. For example, in Ondo State now, so you wouldn't tell. There are times that you need to. Our policemen need their physical presence on the road. You need that physical presence on the road. You made mention of opening boots. Are you aware that we still have people who conceal drugs in vehicles? We still have criminals who in fact, we have criminals who conceal illicit items in the vehicle. So how do you check that? How do you detect that if you don't ask them to stop, open their boot? We still have people who commit minor offenses. They drive without licenses. They drive without.
I'm not holding proof for NDLA, but without opening boots, NDLA detects all of these things too.
No, NDLA.
Yes, NDLA does. Perhaps you want to say that's just at the airports, but you find NDLA posts their success
no
almost on a weekly basis as far as
the ones you just made mention of it, that the ones NDLA does is at critical infrastructures, probably the entry and exit point of states.
Okay.
And there you have sophisticated gadgets, and you will agree with me that these gadgets are not things you deploy on the road.
Okay.
They are not things you deploy on the road. And we as police
from also having some very state-of-the-art gadgets, even if not so many.
No, if you go to the airport, the police also have a department, the EOD, the explosive ordnance disposal. We have sophisticated equipment that we use at the airport. So the EOD explosive, they are also branch of the Nigerian police. They are under the command of the CP of the state. So it is a branch of the police. If you are talking about equipment, they also have it. We deploy them. And just today, we also we had briefing with the SPOs, that senior police officers at the police officers mess today, and there the OC EOD in Ondo State also delivered lectures, and these lectures will be cascaded down to every divisions and formations of Ondo State. What is the lecture about? It's about advising and telling people the dangers of explosives, the dangers of IEDs, and what can make people susceptible to attacks. And that is why we've been deploying equipment where we know we can deploy them. But when you talk of the road and the domestic offenses, the regular crimes, the police is the policing of a society depends on the society.
What are you expecting from society?
What we expect from society is credible and actionable information. If they can give us, of course, and I must say this, over the time the Ondo State people have tested, accepted and trusted us, and that is why from our feedback and the analysis,
Ondo State people have tested,
accepted and trusted us.
You?
Yes, and that is why we've been getting from our feedbacks and analysis that we have from my office and office of the command, we've been getting feedbacks, and this feedback has been very good.
All right. Before I just leave this matter, I think there's still one thing we must talk about, and that's the aspect of the role of the people in enhancing security. I agree with you totally that security will never be the business of one person, not even the business of police alone. Yes. So what should be the issues of the people? Let me give you an instance so that you understand what I'm talking about. You now find infiltration of areas, even estates now, by many people who shouldn't have businesses there. Landlords giving out their houses. What should be your advice to these people in terms of profiling so that you are not harboring criminal elements?
We have said it a number of times in Ondo State Police Command that the CDA, just last 2 weeks, I still had engagement with the people, with the community people, the people of Ayede. I had engagement with them. A couple of them came to my office in which we were discussing about this question you just asked.
Okay.
And what I have suggested over time is that we should initiate community vigilance group. This community vigilance group would help in knowing, identifying the people in their community.
Okay.
Once you identify, you will know that, oh, Mr. A, he comes home around this time. When you see him at late hours, you should know something is wrong somewhere. And Mr. One, at the time, if you are seeing strange faces,
So know your neighbor.
know your neighbor. God bless you.
All right.
That is the community engagement.
Yes, we are by Regional PRO on those Police Command. Thank you so much for coming on State of the State. It's been an interesting conversation. But rest assured, you will be back here to still look at issues surrounding security in no distant time. Thank you so
It's
much.
my pleasure. It's my pleasure.
We'll take a break. Now, when we return, we'll look at the state of affairs in Ondo State from the angle of governance. Please stay with us, everyone. We'll be joined by the spokesperson of the governor of Ondo State.
Anniversary of excellence in broadcasting, honoring the past, celebrating the present, embracing the future. A landmark celebration of OSRC Media Group's Golden Jubilee. The owners of OSRC TV, Orange 94.5 FM and Sunshine 96.5 FM, Alalaye, for 5 decades, OSRC Media Group has been a beacon of excellence in the media landscape, shaping narratives and influencing minds. As we commemorate this milestone, we proudly present a historic gathering that promises to be a defining moment in our journey. Coming up Friday, 27th February 2026. Time noon. Venue The Dome, Alagbaka, Akure. Host Kenneth Odushola Stevenson, Director General, Chief Executive OSRC Media Group. Special keynote address: the intersection of politics, governance, and development, and what Nigeria ought to do. The OSRC Media Agency. A discuss on leadership, nation building, and the pivotal role of the media in shaping Nigeria's future. To be delivered by Professor Femi Mimiko, MNI, Architect Sunday Imole, Chairman. Special guest of honor, the Executive Governor of Ondo State, Dr. Lucky Orimison Ayedatiwa. For inquiries, call 0803-579-2773 or 0803-352-3169. Join us as we honor our past, celebrate our present, and embrace our future. Announcer, 50th Anniversary Planning Committee, OSRC Media Group, 50th Anniversary of Excellence in Broadcasting, still leading the narrative.
Welcome back, everyone. Now, at this leg of the conversation, we'll be looking at the idea to administration 1 year after. We've been joined by the Chief Press Secretary to the Governor of Ondo State, Prince Ebenezer Adedio. Thank you so much for joining me on State of the State.
Thank you very much for having me.
I was almost putting Kajola. I'll be back up your name again.
Kajolowo.
Now, let's look at this. 1 year after, the idea to administration promised the people ease. How easy has it been, especially with the celebration of the first anniversary, the quality of projects commissioned? What would you say has been the impact on the people?
Well, thank you very much. The administration of Dr. Lucky Orimisan came into office about a year ago, February 24th, 2025. And in the last 1 year, he has laid the foundation for the development of Ondo State across all sectors. And if you want me to go sector by sector, giving you various highlights of each of them.
For want of time, we'll be delving into them one by each, but for want of time, how impactful are these projects? That's very important.
Well, very, very impactful. I don't think there's any local government in Ondo State today, out of the 18 local government, where we do not have either a completed or an ongoing project, especially infrastructural projects. You talk about roads, you talk about school structures, you talk about health center structures. So anywhere you go across Ondo State today, in each of the 18 local government areas, you must find one project or the other of this administration.
Which of these projects do you consider milestone? Because a commentator was asking to know what has been the milestone achievement of the administration in the last 1 year.
Well, it might be difficult to put it that way.
Okay.
I don't think 1 year is enough for you to define an administration. Whatever you know any of the past governors for, people know Dr. Olusegun Mimiko with what he did in the health sector. He didn't achieve all those things in 1 year, in his first year in office. People know with the issue of security and his posture towards national issues. He didn't achieve all those within the first year of his administration. It might be a little bit difficult for you to measure or to name tag an administration within 1 year, because this is the first year of trying to lay foundation across board. But one that I can pick out will be in the area of employment. In the last 1 year, Mr. Governor has employed over 3,000 people, and I don't think there's any governor before him in the history of Ondo State that employed that amount of number of people in his first year in office. And among those, we have over 2,000 teachers, which was to bridge the gap in our public schools, because when this administration came on board, there were schools with two classroom teachers, one head teacher, especially in the rural areas. Those gaps have been filled now with the recruitment of over 2,000 teachers in our primary and secondary schools. And then you have recruitment in the health sector. Over 500 have been recruited in the health sector. As a matter of fact, as I'm talking to you now, there's an ongoing recruitment in the health sector, ongoing right now. Screening is being done in the primary health care center to get that there. We've had in the administrative sector where admin officers were recruited. We've had in the agri sector where we recruited forest guards, produce officers, etc., etc. We have in other sectors now. Currently, yesterday, 500 new Amotekun officers were inducted by Mr. Governor yesterday. That has shot over 3,000 employments in the last 1 year. That's a feat. And then you go to the other sectors, like I said.
Maybe before you go to those other sectors, yes, let me quickly come in the issues you've analyzed.
Yes.
You just mentioned the issue of additional 500 people, Amotekun officers injected into the system.
Yes.
There is an issue that has been going on with that agency. Is it actually an employment or appointment, or what exactly? Vis-a-vis the agitation for employment letter, what is this issue actually?
Well, thank you very much. I think that is an administrative issue.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with whether how effective the setup is or how effective the officers are. It's a bureaucratic issue of whether you are supposed to get an employment letter or not. Ondo State is not. We have Amotekun in I think 5 states in the southwest. Ondo State is not the only state where Amotekun did not issue employment letters to officers. Okay. And the reason is that it is difficult to issue such letters to those people, because there were categories of recruitment done when the agency was formed. it was not. The recruitment was not based on academic qualification. It was not based on grading according to your certificate. It was done based on community experience, security experience, community organizing, you understanding your terrain, the environment where you live. For instance, if you recruit an hunter for a farmer or a local hunter, for instance, you can't place that person on a salary scale and say, okay, we're employing you on primary 6 certificate, and then recruit a new graduate and then place the new graduate above that local hunter, where that local hunter has more community experience, security experience than the fresh graduate, but the local hunter has primary school leaving certificate. So you can't put the new graduate above the local hunter, because the job is supposed to be relative to what they want to do. So it's not necessarily about the measurement of the grade that they put you there. It's not necessarily about your academic certificate.
Okay.
So it becomes difficult to now issue such letters, because once you do that, then people start asking for promotion based on employment letters, whereas your promotion is supposed to be based on your performance in office. But once you migrate into the public service system or the civil service system, you expect that every year you get level upgrade. Every 3 years you get
time is running so fast.
So that, I think that's why I said it's an administrative issue. It has nothing to do with the.
And I also hope that everyone who has been asking for an explanation on this matter will find this very useful. But let me come back to the health sector. Some health centers, hospitals is renovated and upgraded and then commissioned during this first anniversary.
Yes.
And tongues are wagging about the use of tricycle for ambulance services.
Needlessly,
I think they must be addressed. And you are the spokesperson of the governor.
Yes, I think that was blown out of proportion. I think it became a social media issue. Of course, you know that once our people get a topic on social media, they run with it because everybody wants engagement on social media now. I don't think there's anything wrong with what we are doing in the health sector, especially in the renovation of rehabilitation of all those health sector structures. Most of those structures have been dilapidated for a very long time. This is the first time now that the government will earmark at least over 200 health facilities in the grassroots for upgrade, and that has been going on in the last 1 year. What you saw with the issue of the health center where the deputy governor went to, it wasn't just about the keke ambulance. The keke ambulance was just put out as a symbol to show that the government unveiled the complete renovation of that health center. There were other facilities there, but for the sake of optics, during the event they put that one out to match with the background of the building. So it wasn't as if the government commissioned one keke ambulance. As a matter of fact, you and I know that it is practically impossible for government to buy one item of anything. Even if it is, no matter the item that the government wants to buy, it's practically impossible to buy one. In the last 1 year, we've had the distribution of ambulances.
What type of ambulances?
Vehicles, ambulances. Fortunately, I didn't come with the real ambulances. Even if you still go to the government hospital now, you still see some there that they are working on for distribution. Some of the serviceable ones are currently being serviced to put back into use. So we've had distribution of those vehicles in the last 1 year. Right. As a matter of fact, it's not all the time that government will distribute items that they will do ceremony to commission. But the commissioner of that sector happened because it was part of the program of the anniversary, and the management of the hospital just felt that, okay, let us put something out just to symbolize the commissioning. So it wasn't as if the deputy governor went there to commission one ambulance.
So many things were either inaugurated or flagged off during this anniversary, and one thing that perhaps didn't even meet up or get included in the joyous celebration is the revamp and rehabilitation of the roundabouts to become junctions and all of that, the traffic lights and all of that. But then, why was the Oyarebelen flyover not completed to meet that anniversary?
Well, thank you very much. I'm not sure it's a good idea to base the completion of a project of that nature on the calendar of anniversary.
Okay.
I don't think it would be a good idea for an administrator, for a governor, to just rush a project just because he wants to use it to mark his first anniversary in office. If you go there now, you see that the project is almost completed. As a matter of fact, the structure itself is completed. The real structure itself is completed. What we have now is the road infrastructure around the flyover. But the most technical aspect of the job is already completed. But what Mr. Governor did not want to do was to just paint over the whole thing and then just use it to do commissioning. And even when the anniversary committee, which I was a member of, suggested that the project could be maybe rushed for the committee, it's not necessary to rush it. Allow the contractors to continue with their work, because he said this is a technical project. Don't rush them. Let them finish their work. Once something is completed, we open it. If there is a need for us to do the ceremony, we'll do the ceremony. If it does not meet up, we open it once it's completed. It's for people to use. So I don't think there is any story to it, whether it was part of the anniversary or not. The project is ongoing. Is 98% completed. It's just to finish with the adjoining road infrastructure, and then it can be open for people to use.
All right. Talking about the education sector, would you say this administration has indeed been able to bring ease to that sector?
Yes, I think that is one of the sectors that this administration has recorded a lot of feats. Don't forget that when Mr. Governor came into office, the popular free shuttle system had been abandoned for about 2 years or 3 years or more. He reintroduced it. As a matter of fact, additional vehicles were provided, and then that of the riverine area too. You have free shuttle boats for students, for pupils to cross the water to go and come back from their school. And also one of the things he revived in the education sector was the issue of payments of WAEC fees of our pupils. Over 600 million naira was paid for the last one that was done last year, and also increased the scholarship and bursary of our students in tertiary institution. Increased the bursary by 100%, and as a matter of fact, when he came into office, that scholarship bursary had been stopped for about 4 or 5 years or more. But he brought it back. He paid that of 2024, paid that of 2025 last year. So this is apart from the ongoing renovation of schools going on across the state via the State Universal Basic Education Board, SUBEB. So, of course, to crown it all was the recruitment of over 2,000 teachers in the education sector. You go to our schools now, you see that almost all the classrooms now are manned by qualified teachers, and you know that this will have an effect on the output of those schools. All
right, Prince Adeniyi, two critical issues before we close shop in this conversation. First, let's go to Sopadec. Yeah. Some brainstorms came up recently, and then government had to take step in wading into the matter. Can it be said that with the redeployment of the bureaucrat there, has it put an end to the storm that blew in that agency?
Yes, you of course you can see now that the noise is has gone down now, and I think that agency is a very sensitive agency, and it's an interventionist agency. It's not directly run under the office of the governor, because you also need to give a level of independence to it to be able to function effectively well. But when Mr. Governor realized that things were getting out of hand, he had to intervene to ensure that the management there is put in shape, in proper shape, and I think that was what necessitated the redeployment.
But the issues will still be looked into.
Permanent secretary. Oh, of course, there are issues. I think there are still issues pending before the ICPC, I think, and the Code of Conduct Bureau, I think, and also Mr. Governor is taking a look at some of the issues there. So, but I can assure you that the crisis is a thing of the past now.
Finally, I'd like to come to your constituency.
Yes.
Just recently, 2 media aides of the governor pulled out.
Yes.
What is wrong with the media team?
There's nothing wrong with the media team. We have a very vibrant media team. But of course, the 2 media aides that tendered their resignation, Mr. Governor gladly accepted their resignation, and they explained to Mr. Governor why they were leaving. As a matter of fact, both of them got elevated career-wise in the same organization. So Mr. Governor expressed his happiness that it's not as if they resigned.
Which same organization?
Well, it's a government agency. So I'm not at liberty.
Of course, when you say the same organization,
yes, government is in a federal government agency. Yes, in a federal government agency, and as a matter of fact, both of them had that as a long-term dream for them to work in that agency for some years. So it was, I think it was a time for them to move career-wise. They are still friends of the administration. They are still, as a matter of fact, if you were the first anniversary gala night some 2 days ago or so, you will see that in the brochure, in the compendium that we produced, the names of both of them were seen in the compendium, which means they contributed to putting that together even after their resignation. So they are still part and parcel of the team, but career-wise, they have moved on. Well,
every other issue we'll be looking at when next I bring you here. I have to thank you very much, Chief Press Secretary to Governor Loki Aida, to Prince Ebenezer Adeni Kajola. I keep putting that. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you very much for having me.
Everyone, has been an interesting conversation from security to governance, and I thank you so much for being a part of it. Until next week, when the program comes your way again, I'm Sunday Kolawole. Enjoy the rest of the evening.